morning. It's Thursday, the 26th of January 2012. Welcome to today's United Kingdom Talk. I did make an error at the beginning of yesterday's show. I said it was Tuesday and not Wednesday. Of course, yesterday was Wednesday, the day before was Tuesday, and today is Thursday. I hope that made that quite clear, my dears. Well, yes, they've wheeled it out again. Another one of those boring old award shows, the Oscars. What is the point of people? And they are very, very popular shows, I have to say, especially among the gay audience. For some reason, they are attracted to watching an award show, whether it be the Oscars, the MTV Awards. What is it that attracts people to watching other people go up on the stage and receive an award? I just don't get it. Another one of those programs, I'm afraid, on TV that I don't like. Now, talking of programs on TV that I don't like, I have to say I'm not a great fan, and I've mentioned this before, of food programs. And I have been informed that our good friend Nick the Cabbie is going to appear on Come Dine With Me. Yes, he is. He sent in the application form. He's met up with them, and they are filming in February. So our very own Nick the Cabbie is going to be on Come Dine With Me. Now, I will, of course, Nick, watch the programmes. I believe you're in more. Are you in just in one show or not? I haven't actually watched the whole show of those. Of one of those. Is it just one show you're in, or how does that all work? Do let me know. I will, of course, watch the one that you're in, Nick. But it's just beyond me how someone would want to be... And I have to say this to you, Nick. I know you're going to be on the telly and that. But how can you want to be on the telly, and I do know the format of the show, only to have your food slagged off by other people who don't or do like it? You know, do you know, I've got a very itchy left breast today. Oh, I'm itching away. I think I must have changed my washing powder. Do you ever do that? The worst thing you can do in it, change your washing powder. I'm itching away. It must have been the buy. I must use Fairy Snow for my clear, delicate skin, boys and girls. Very clear, delicate skin. Yeah, I mean, why you would want to go on a TV show, cook for a load of bloody ungrateful people, only to have your food slagged off by them if they don't like it. It's beyond me. Why do you want to do that, eh? Dreadful show. However, Nick, the cabbie, regular viewer, and he used to be a regular correspondent to this show, but I mean, those emails are very few and... Well, they're not even very few and far, but I haven't had one from ages. Where are your emails, Nick the cabbie? Come on. Send them through. We want to know what you're doing. Apparently, the producers of the show have already seen that little film that Nick did. We showed it a while ago when he actually fried an egg. I think he did it twice, actually, on the bonnet of his taxi, and it didn't quite work. And they want to redo that. It's possibly the worst possible time of the year that you could want to try and fry it. I mean, do you really think it's even going to go white around the edges in this weather? You're going to have to put something underneath the cab. I don't know. I mean, just having the engine running isn't much good, is it, Nick? And so there we are. We'll look out for that. Come Dine With Me with Nick the Cabbie. I'll let you know when it's on. And talking about engines, I do believe I have fixed my car rattle. Oh, yes. Now, it is due to go in this morning, today being Thursday, okay, to have the, to try and find where these fumes are coming from. We think there's a gasket gone round the edge, but they have to take some bits off to find it or whatever. But the rattle, I lifted the bonnet and I looked around with my beady eyes, and I noticed that the air intake pipe, which is connected... Don't know what I'm talking about now, dear. You see, I'm a mechanic as well. So many things I can do, dear. So many things. The air intake tube was not... It had come off its little... I say come off. It's only pushed into a little hole. It's like a little nipple, and it pushes into a hole near the radiator, and that stops it. That had come off, so it was rattling and banging against the radiator like that. That noise reminds me of something. Now, what was it now? I can't remember now. Anyway, so yes, it was banging against the radiator. So I have fixed that with my own fair hand. Chris Reardon, mechanic. If there's any questions about anything at all to do with motor cars, planes, trains, motorbikes, bicycles, then send them through. I'm only too glad to help, and for nothing. I'm like the BBC, it's all for nothing, except you don't even have to pay for a licence fee to see me, you lucky things. I know what you're going to say. You would willingly sell your car and all its house and all its contents in order to help me do my shows, but it's not required. Thank you very much. Bit of bad news, I'm afraid. Those of you that have been with us at least until October will know that I have been trying to buy a flat. Okay, I'm a little bit of I deal a little bit with property as well as doing my entertainment things, and I've got a few properties that I let out to people, and I was trying to buy this new flat again to add to the ones I've got and let them out. This sort of thing doesn't necessarily make you rich. It certainly won't make me rich. It doesn't make you rich, but it makes you comfortable in later life. You understand what I mean? I have no interest at all in being a millionaire or anything like that, but I would like to know that in later life I won't have to go out DJing. Not that I want to give up. You know, it's not DJing, doing entertainment things. I think that you're doing something that you do not look forward to retirement. You would go as long as you possibly can. Look at Bruce Forsyth. Okay, and all these old film actors, do you really think that they need to work anymore? Of course they don't. They're loaded, absolutely loaded, but they want to work, and it's similar for me. I like doing karaoke, DJing, quiz nights, bingo. I enjoy doing it, okay? But at some point, it may well be that age dictates that, I'm afraid, Chris, your face no longer fits with what we're doing anymore, so we don't want you anymore. So I look to, and pensions, you know, are a complete waste of bloody time, pensions. I really think they are a complete waste of time. You've got to put your money somewhere else. So I put mine into properties, and that's what will hopefully be all right in my later age, if, please God, that I get to my later age. Anyway, so this flat's been going through since October. It does take a few months for things to go through there. And we've come across a bit of a stumbling block. Now, with all the other properties, I've not come through a position like I'm in at the moment. I'm going to tell you about it now. I have some places that are freehold. Just to explain, if you're outside the UK, if you have a freehold property, you own it outright and that's it. There's nothing else really to pay from it except to the council for them to empty the bins and do whatever they do, which is, yeah, I mean, they do the job quite well around here in Bracknell and all that. And you also have leasehold properties. Now, leasehold properties is where you purchase a property for a said length of time, okay, maybe 125 years, okay, and you own it for that period of time. As the years come down, okay, you are able to go back to the freeholder and say, hello, my lease is now at 100 years. I would like to extend it back to 125 years. How much, please, will that cost? And they will say, yes, you can, but that will cost you thousands of pounds. And you send the money and then you bring it back up to 125. Of course, I have no intention of doing that. So I have some leasehold properties which are at various length of their leases, and they usually come together with some sort of agreement of what you can and can't do. On my other leases, it's fairly basic, you know, most of it's common sense, okay? However, on this new flat that I've been trying to buy, I've come across various other bits and pieces which you can and can't do. I'm going to tell you what they are now. For example, my tenant wants to keep a couple of cats. Okay? So, I went to see our solicitor last week. My solicitor. Her name is Cheryl of in Reading. Lovely girl, who made me aware of certain things that then I wasn't happy at the time. One of which was the ground rent that you have to pay will double every 10 years. Now, at the moment, it's £150, okay? and they're at year 5. The people who own the property now are at year 5. You see what I mean? So in 5 years' time, that £150 will become £300. And then in 10 years' time, it will become £600. Do you see what I mean? So that was number one I wasn't too happy about. Okay, given that, I'm going to be 49 in a couple of weeks. You know, I mean, 10, 20, I hate to say it, but we don't live forever. You know what I'm saying? Okay? But that was one thing that bothered me. There were other bits and pieces, such as you have to decorate the interior walls every 5 years. Well, I mean, I keep my house clean and I like to keep my properties up to date. But, I mean, every 5 years, you know, I thought that was a bit much, really, to be honest. I certainly don't decorate this house every 5 years. And there were some other bits and pieces that I can't remember now, but they weren't too bad. And then she says, if you've got any other questions, best to ask them now before you actually go ahead, sign a bit of paper and commit to buy. Okay, so even though we've gone so far along the line, I'm not yet committed to buy. Now you have to bear in mind that the person I'm buying from, okay, is kind of, we're in a chain now, right? I'm not in a chain. I'm in a very lucky position. I am just buying. I'm not selling something and buying something. I am just buying. So I'm not really in the chain. But she is now in a chain, whereas I have to buy from her to allow her to move to the next place there. And that's all I know about. It may well be that the person she's buying from, it has to sell to her to be able to move on. Are you with me? Okay, so I'm in the good position here. Now, some of the questions that came out that we wanted to ask was, number one, can we keep cats? Okay? Or a pet. Number two, we wanted to know if I could change the windows at the front. Number three, can we have a cat flap put in? And number four, I will be subletting it. Is that a problem? Okay, so remember, there's the freeholder who owns the block of flats. There is me, the leaseholder, who will be owning the flat from the freeholder, but he still owns the building. I'm only leasing it for a certain amount of time, which in this case is about 145 years. Okay. The idea in the UK, if you're going to buy something on lease, you want the lease to be as long as possible, preferably over sort of 80 years is okay, as long as you don't want to hold on to it for hold on to it to 20 years and then sell at 60. Okay, don't keep it after 60. If it's longer than 100 years, all the better. So 145 years is a bloody good time. Okay, that's a really good lease. So this particular company had already been sent letters. The name of the company is Peverel, Peverel, Peverel. And they were already sent some questions which took them 28 days to answer. I mean, I don't know what sort of way that is to run a business. You know, 28 days to answer some questions. But there we are, that's how it was. And we've got back some answers. Here we go. Dear sir, we understand your client, was talking about me, intends to sublet the above property. You may or may not be aware that the lease on your property contains a covenant requiring consent for letting. Okay? Basically, they saying, we offer two consent options as follows. Consent for each letting, subject to the enclosed guidance rules, notes, for a fee of £126. Okay? So I, the landlord of my tenant, have to pay this property management company £126 when I move someone in there. It also says that consent will only be given for lettings on an assured short-hold tenancy agreement for a period of not less than 6 months and no more than 3 years. So what it looks like they're saying here is that, yes, I can put a tenant in there, send them £126, right, for the privilege of putting someone in there, and that tenant can only stay for 3 years. I mean, I've never heard of such a thing. I really haven't. So there we are. It also gives you the option of having a global licence to sublet. This option is usually the preference for a buy-to-let investor, i.e. me. The global license would cover every letting for the duration of your ownership, subject to the enclosed guidance notes, for a one-off fee of £360. What planet are these people on? £360 payable to OM Property Management. The registration fee is £30. That's £36 with the VAT. And it just goes on. We would normally grant consent without further inquiries. I mean, that's a bit much, isn't it? You know, having to pay every time someone moves in, having to inform them. What's all that about? So that's one answer. Answer number 2. Subletting guidance notes. The following are not acceptable. DWP tenants. What the bloody hell are they? Anyone got any idea what a DWP tenant is? Because I haven't. I don't know what that is. It says letting to a housing association or local authority. Letting to a group of young flat sharers, which is something that I would, believe me, I would never do. Oh my God. Can you just imagine letting one of your places or your house to a group of young students? I don't think so. So I wouldn't do that anyway. That's fair enough. But here's the strange one. Persons in receipt of housing benefits unless an employment reference is provided. You can't let it for holiday lettings. You can't, if subletting to a company, only a limited company is acceptable and the occupant must be an employee of the company. We require copies of the last 3 accounts for the company. Subtenants are not allowed to keep animals. Who on earth are these people to tell me who cannot live in a place that I've bought? See what I'm saying here? That's a long list. And that is a long list. Long list. So that was another answer to some of the questions there. And finally, here's the best one of the lot. Possibly not the most important one, you may think. Let me just find this bit of paper. You'll love this one. So many bits of paper here. I'm all over the place now. Where are we? Sublet. There's that one there, that one there. Oh, damn, I can't find it now. How annoying is that? I tell you what, I've still got it on my computer screen. Let's bring it up on there and read it to you. You'll love this one. Where are we? Here we are. Pet consents application form. Okay? Pet consent. Further to your request to keep a pet at the property, okay, please find and enclose a pet consent application form. Once you've completed the form, please return. Our administration charge for dealing with the application is £66, which must be returned with your completed application form. This gets better. This gets better, right? So £66 to request that you have a dog, a cat, or whatever. Now, I am assuming, reading into this, we are talking at £66 per pet. So presumably, if you had 2 dogs or 4 cats, you'd be paying £66 each for one of those. I might be wrong on that. Doesn't matter. Okay? £66 for permission to keep a cat. It goes on. Should your application be successful, we will issue consent together with a receipt. In the event of the application being unsuccessful, you ready for this? Then 1/2 of the administration fee will be returned. They will return half of the fee. Not all of it, half of it. So there we are. As you can see, we've had a spanner thrown in the works. reading this at the moment, I'm really not very happy. And it's a bit like getting married. If there's any doubt in your mind when you're spending so much money, then I think you shouldn't do it. I've written back to my solicitor asking her, is this normal? Because it's judging from the other places I've bought over the years, this is way over the top. Way over the top. I mean, it really is, you know. But I've written to my solicitor asking what she thinks. Does she think it's over the top? And also the guy who dealt with my mortgages, to see what he thinks. Now, as it stands at the moment, and I've spoken to my prospective tenant as well, who is also unhappy at what we've got here. As it stands at this moment, as I talk to you at this moment, I don't think I'm going to go through with this one. Unfortunately, I will lose a couple of £1,000, right? Because you have to pay certain things. You have to pay for the place to be looked at by the building society that is lending you the money. You have to pay for searches, drainage and all that to check what's going on around the area. All that money I will have lost. But far better that you lose a couple of £1,000 rather than spend a lot more than that and end up with a problem. You see what I mean? I mean, this company, quite frankly, is coming across as greedy. And I've read these two bits of paper, and I just want to screw this bit of paper up and shove it up their arse. I really do. I think that's outrageous what they're asking there. Absolutely. I don't think it's acceptable at all what they're asking there. And how dare they tell me who and who I cannot put into one of my places. I'm not having it. I'm really not having it. Now, unfortunately, if I pull out, the lady selling it is going to have to find somewhere else. And I feel very, very bad about that. However, from a business point of view, I think it's the right thing to do. I can't see me getting on with this. There's just going to be rows. I would be buying a very expensive problem, I think. The flat is lovely. It's lovely where it is and what have you, but I think I'm going to be buying into a rather expensive problem here. And I'll see what the solicitor says and my money man when they come back to me, hopefully later today, and let you all know. Just wondered if you'd had any experience with anything like this at all. I'd be glad to hear what you said, or indeed what you think I've just told you. You know, I do feel bad, you know, because if I don't buy it, I don't think she can move, because she didn't have any other offers. To be honest, I think I paid a little bit more than I should have done, but I was, at the time, I was happy to do that. As it stands at the moment, I'm really not happy with the rules and regulations on one of my own places, you know, I mean, or what would become one of my own places if I carry on going through with this. Anyway, if you've got any comments on that at all, I'd be very interested to know if you've experienced anything like that. Perhaps you own a leasehold property, and I've had a problem with some of these managing agents before. Do let me know. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Also, interestingly enough, I typed in the name of the managing agents. What was it again? I'll tell you what I found. Peverel, Peverel and reviews. I typed in Peverel and reviews. And I found somewhere, there it is, the truth about OM property management. I found a site, and remember I said checks were supposed to be paid, I think, what was it to, there we are, OM Property Management. It says it on there. And there were bits and pieces on there that I found very interesting. Today we focus on a number of complaints received already in 2012 about OM Property Management and how one big development in Bradley Stoke is suffering big time. Some of their sub-companies have been wound up, losing people money. It's not looking good, is it really? It's highly likely I'm going to pull out this. I've been thinking about it. I couldn't even have my afternoon sleep because I was thinking about this all the time. Your thoughts, please, Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right, let's do a couple of emails then. Hello to Ant and Big Dog, who write this via YouTube, who says, on the subject of drinking at home, the drinks are cheaper at home too. He says, vis-a-vis the quiz night home link-ups. Thanks, Chris. That's all right. Yes, we did a bit of a quiz night link-up. I do a quiz on Sunday nights at Bluches in Hammersmith every Sunday night in London between 7 and 10 p.m. We had a very good week this week. And it was actually full of lots of middle-aged women today. And I couldn't understand why. Why all these middle-aged women were there this week. And it turns out that just across the road from us, we have an event venue, the Hammersmith Apollo. And over there, we're performing One Direction, which is a group of, it's a very, very young boy band. And what it turns out is that these were the parents of lots of young children who had gone over there to see their idols, One Direction. God, so, I mean, it's not exactly on the same scale as Barry Manilow, admit it, is it? Okay. So there we are. So very good night. And what we did, just as a little tryout, I saw Millie in Minnesota, who's a regular correspondent to the show. Her dad's very ill at the moment. And I thought, well, she must be sitting at home probably doing nothing. She might want to join in the quiz. So we linked up with her via the Skype, and she was able to join us for the quiz, which was great fun, actually. So, yeah, very good indeed, that. So we might, you could actually turn it into a radio station, I suppose. A radio show, I mean, on one of the many online stations. Hello to Jean, who writes, Chris, on the subject of people you call, why who don't call you? I call people all the time, but realise that they don't call you lest you call them. I last sussed this a couple of years ago, and I thought, you know what? I'm wasting my precious time calling people who only answer my calls, you know? So I thought, F you. I'm not even going to say that word. F you, she thought. I'm not running up my phone bill. I've got lots of real friends who want to talk to me. Sadly, not always family. But I learned from that, and I'll send you something someone wise posted on Facebook. Real friends aren't always family. They are people who really care about you. Sorry about the pain in your tooth, by the way. I had root canal 10 years ago. Don't worry about it, Chris. The pain will pass. Trust me, it's temporary. You'll be fine. Love your show so much, Chris. You lift my spirits. We lift you up. Ladder on highest mountains. Yeah, the pain in my tooth has gone. I have yet, and I've had a couple of meals on that tooth now, and the pain that used to go up when I bit on things is also not there yet. But the big test will be a packet of crisps, okay? Walker's cheese and onion crisps I have been unable to eat properly for some time because of the bite problem on that particular tooth at the back. So that is the next test, and I shall do that. Perhaps I should do it live on the show. I don't know. I can't decide. Then again, now that I've mentioned cheese and onion crisps, I'm very tempted to go out and purchase a packet of Walker's cheese and onion crisps. Anyway, thanks for watching and listening to the show today. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I'll see you on the next show. Bye-bye.